If you give me about 20 to 30 minutes, I will walk you through 6 prisms that you need in your life and your business. Before you light up a match and walk away from everything you have slaved to build so far, before you hide into a year-long hibernation to rediscover yourself again after the amazing success you have built, that you need to consider and realign in order to be able to move forward, not just with more ease and grace and excitement and fulfillment, but in a way that allows you to build a more intentional living, more intentional business by design, intentional leadership, and therefore create intentional impact. I'm Sarah Oblak Spiker, and I've been doing this work for my clients for nearly a decade and for myself for over 20 years. And before we move forward, let's just do something here. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. And from my experience, I know that when you are somebody who is a high achiever, high-powered visionary, when you can see beyond what most people around you can even comprehend, when you can create and have the drive to achieve more than most people around you can even dream about, you come into this space eventually that feels quite lonely. It feels frustrating. It feels like you're in a kind of a disconnect when you don't have the right people around you. And that's the problem. At certain levels, you will find yourself surrounded with those who will not be even able to tell you what you need to hear, much less willing to tell you what you need to hear. And that's what I'm going to do today. There's going to be no BS around here. And another thing I'm going to do is I don't want to be restrained by this jacket to look fancy. So let's make a deal. Let's pretend. Close your eyes and let's envision that we are sitting somewhere comfortable, sipping perhaps our favorite wine and wearing comfortable outfit. For me, it's this wrap. It's soft, it's comfortable. And I want you to feel this comfortable and cozy as well, because this is where those creative juices start flowing and this is where you get to be you, right? So, are you ready? If you need to, grab a glass of vino, put your feet up, and let's rock and roll. So, like I said, there are 6 prisms that I want you to reconsider in your business, in your life, in your leadership, in the way you want to make an impact. And we're going to start with the first one, which is obviously you. Whether you're a business owner, an expert, entrepreneur, a leader, CEO, you already are playing numerous roles. You already have a ton of skills that you bring to the table. You already have a vision that goes way beyond what most people can see. And probably, if you're in my circles, you also are a spouse, a wife, and you also have little ones. So what is it you're doing out here is not just for yourself anymore, it's for your family. And the sad thing is that oftentimes when we get to a certain level of success, it's those people that we care for the most who are the ones picking up the toll for our stress, anxiety, long working hours, feeling exhausted, and also for disconnecting ourselves from what we are really meant to do, meant to create, meant to put out there in a way that we're really meant to serve. See, when it comes to being yourself, one of the most amazing skills that you can develop is self-awareness. And that brings us to the second prism, which is the mindset piece. Mindset piece, the way you think, the way you form your belief systems, the way you react to things emotionally, the way you act and react, the habits that you create, and therefore results that you get to experience, all come from about 5% of consciousness. Everything else is driven by 95% of subconsciousness that we are not even aware of. And that's where the deep mindset work comes into place, because no matter how hard you try, you cannot outwork, outsmart, out-hustle, out-muscle the framework that is almost like a mirror or like a glass, right? That you don't even see it's there, you're not even aware it's there, but you keep hitting it over and over again, repeating the same patterns, self-sabotaging yourself in many different ways, ultimately across the board, because the way you do one thing is how you do everything. So what it ultimately means is when you're a high achiever, super intelligent person who already has incredible success under your belt, chances are that you are still caught in the myopic vision, in myopic thinking. And that is really working against you. It's working against the purpose that you're trying to fulfill. And it certainly is not serving your clients, because the playing field on which you can bring them up to is really limited. And it's your job to expand that field, to shift your thinking, to shift your actions, to shift the paradigms around it, to break out of the generational patterns, cultural patterns. As you can see, actually you can hear in my voice, I have this sexy European accent, as some people might say, because I'm a European. And there are a lot of differences that I had to overcome. There are a lot of different things I had to learn and internalize and embody when I became an entrepreneur in the United States. A very different culture view of what success is, what my strengths are, what my gifts were, and owning it. It took a lot of work to work through it. And along the way, what I kept hitting unknowingly, that's why I have my own world-class mentors around me to guide me, was that ego. Ego was dancing rock and roll. It was having so much fun. It kept pushing me to work harder, believing that I was my own results. And that affected the way how I parented. It enabled my kids to push every single one of my buttons, and I had no idea why. And it forced my husband to walk on the eggshells, just waiting for me to explode. And it got me caught into this victim mentality almost, when at the time I was certain I was doing everything right, and I was certain I was, pushing and pulling and doing everything by the book, and I just couldn't move the needle. And I was there. I was ready to light the baby on fire, just walk away and start from the scratch. But there was something deeper that got me going. There was some deeper knowing, and that's going to be in part of the sixth prism that I'm going to get to in just a little bit. So, mindset piece. Why is mindset piece so important, and why everybody talks about it? Because it not only affects your 5% ultimately of your actions and consequently results, it also affects your energetic vibration. And what that means is that what you put out energetically is what you attract and what you magnetize. It's called to you. It's this superpower that works for you even when you sleep. When you learn how to take care of yourself, when your self-care, and I'm not talking about manicures and pedicures, by the way, when self-care becomes your number one priority and your secret success strategy, you will see the world will start changing, and the universe will start rearranging around to bring to life that vision of yours that has thus far been just around the corner. Like always elusive. You can taste it, you can smell it, you can feel it, you can see it, but you just can't grab it. And it's frustrating, to say at least. So that brings me to the third prism when we're talking about energy and the mindset. We're talking about the tangible and intangible. We're talking about theoretical, and we're talking about practical. And all of that comes together in your business. I know you started your business because you wanted to do something that will improve people's lives. You had the gifts, you had the skills, you had the knowledge. You saw a problem, you had the solution, you brought it to the market. Along the way, I would dare to assume that you can invest it heavily in perfecting those skills, mastering those tools, perfecting your craft, becoming even better at what you did. And along the way, you have probably, otherwise you wouldn't be here at multiple seven figures, if along the way you didn't invest in business coaches, consultants, mentors who helped you identify the pieces of the puzzle that perhaps were not quite fitting, perhaps were missing, perhaps you had to improve. Oftentimes when people come to me, they already have a funnel in place. They already know about the sales. They already have their marketing strategy in place. They are familiar with all of those terms. They are far beyond the guru math. They understand the numbers of the business. But what I find out that they're lacking at a certain level is that those pieces are no longer enough. It's no longer enough that they just, sit on the desk, on the table, on the vision board, whatever. They don't necessarily fit together by size, or they don't fit together in the big picture. Some have been outgrown, some have been not the right ones to begin with. Some maybe just need a little tweaking. Some perhaps need to be completely redefined, recreated, reframed. And that's where we start working on this business component, because it's more than just a business model. It's more than just pricing. It's more than just messaging. It's more than just the sales. It's more than just the operations and management and the financial aspect of your business. It is so much more. And when you understand how to bring in the intelligence, how to bring in the practical, the pragmatic, the actionable, the simplified strategies, and how to bring in that secret tool of yours, the energetic component. Now we're talking about elevating your level of service to the highest level. And here's another paradigm that I'm going to challenge you with. Oftentimes, I get to talk to and work with entrepreneurs who somehow have been taught that impact comes down to quantity. So here they are, those brilliant women, brilliant men, conscious, highly gifted, committed to serving thousands of people in their community. But only about 8% of them might be achieving their desired results. So when I ask, what is it stopping them what's stopping them from stepping up and creating the space to invite just a couple of private clients to the highest level, the most expensive, the most exclusive container, and work with them privately at the highest level of service? You know what they say? I don't know what I could offer. I don't have anything to offer. I'm not good enough. I'm not quite there yet. I'm afraid of deeper connection that will be required. I feel uncomfortable having to be so intimate with my clients at such levels, which again brings me back to the mindset piece and the paradigms that have to be there and the myopic thinking. But when they do decide to step up, it not only changes their business, it not only brings about the possibility to really create an intentional impact, the one that they were born to create, it affects their families. And this is this fourth prism that I want to address as a mom to crystal children, as a mom to globetrotters, as a wife in multicultural marriage. Family is the foundation of everything that I do. It is the reason why I started my business when I found out I was pregnant, the same week when I lost my job. I wanted the time, I wanted the energy, I wanted the opportunity to create experiences for myself and for my little ones, for my husband. And when clients come to me, they want the same things. They wanted more time, they want more energy for their families, but they don't know where else to take it from because days only have 24 hours. There's a lot of responsibilities on their shoulders from their businesses. Their teams need them, their clients need them. Sometimes they collapse into bed at 11 o'clock at night or even 1 in the morning to do what? Answer some more emails. That's not a life to be lived. And I'm not here to insult your intelligence and tell you that you can do all of that in like few hours a day, because actually you can do that, but I'm not the person to guide you there, because there's so much more to it And I want to be super honest and super transparent with you about that. What I am here to tell you though, is that depending on how you structure your business and how you position your business and how you reframe that foundation on which you can build on, it can really work, and it should really work around your family and not your family around your business. That is a huge shift. See, when a client came to me who already had multiple six-figure revenues, amazing team, they felt so guilty that they had to leave their family at 5 o'clock in the morning and they wouldn't come home before 9 o'clock at night, that it was eating them alive. And when they had to add travel for business to their itinerary and to their schedule, the guilt went through the roof. So what we did, we figured things out, we shifted things around, we streamlined, we optimized, we made things more effective and more efficient in ways that they did not even know was possible. That not only brought back the incredible amount of free time to their schedule, they were able to travel also with their families for fun, unplug during vacation time, all while bringing in additional hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue to their business with much greater ease, with much more fun and greater integrity, because they knew that the service they provided was now they received the equal exchange of value for what they were putting out there and for the lifetime value that they delivered to their clients. So family, like I said, even in my own life, when I went through postpartum depression and burnout, I remember sitting on a couch, cuddling my newborn and a toddler. I was like, what the fuck? Everything that I have worked for so hard, I created everything I wanted to by the age of 30. It no longer felt enough. It no longer felt aligned. And it was this dark space and confusing space. But what I knew deep down inside of me was that I was not going to burn it down, and I was not going to go into the hiding, because there was more to it. And I took it step by step. And there were a couple of years that I could probably shave off this whole transformation if I had the tools, if I had the knowledge, if I had the guidance that I am here to offer to you. So at the end, this dark moment in my own life became my spiritual awakening. And it showed me life from a very different angle, from a very different perspective. It gave me almost like a new lens that was not tainted. It had no spots. It was super clear. My confidence skyrocketed. My clarity skyrocketed. The connection that I have with my husband now, the loving relationship, has never been stronger. And what makes me more excited is that the connection I have with my girls, crystal children, I can be there for them in a capacity that they need. And even on those days when I just want to shut the doors of my bathroom and collapse to the floor and cry, because let's face it, we're all human. We all have those human experiences. It no longer keeps me down for a week or a whole day. It's a moment, because I have the tools and I have the knowledge and I have the experience and I have the ability and capacity to shift those things instantaneously. And that's why I'm talking to you about it, because I want you to have the same tools, the same resources, the same ability and capacity to do the same for you and consequently for your clients. Because when it comes to the fifth prism, the fifth element in this holistic concept, we're now talking about your life. What you do is just a fraction of who you are. Family is just a fraction of who you are. And your life right now, where you are, is just a moment in time and space compared to the infinity of what is already out there, of who you are, what you're calling in, and your own journey. This is just a moment in your human form. Your spirit is gonna live on. I'm not gonna go into this whole conversation of into this part of conversation, because then 20 minutes would not be enough. So let's just keep it straight to your life. what do you want from life? Like, I want you to close your eyes and go back in time when you decided to start a family, when you decided to start a business, when you sit down and create your vision board, when you allow yourself to dream, and when you allowed yourself to just feel into the vision. What was it? What was the promise that you made to yourself? What was the promise that you made to your spouse? What was the promise that you made to your kids when you kissed them the first time in the delivery room? When you looked them in the eyes? What was it? I want you to remember that. And I want you to anchor that feeling and those memories and bring them back to your drawing board. Because what good does it have? What good does it do to have 6, 7, 8 figures in your bank account if none of those have been fulfilled, if none of those commitments have been seen through, if commitments to yourself have been broken over and over and over again? It doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to be that way, and it really can be a lot easier and a lot different and a lot more simple. That's why you and I are having this conversation right now. So I want you to envision and go back to what is that you want to create in your life, and then step into the space, because at the end of the day, as we already addressed, you magnetize what you're ready for and what you put out there. So what do you want to manifest? How do you want to feel? How do you know you can feel? I'm going to tell you, clients who came to me were some of the ones who have burned out, walked away from their 7-figure businesses. They felt completely lost. They felt they had to start at the very beginning in a new industry. They felt they couldn't offer something that their heart and soul were calling them for, because frankly, they did not have a point of reference to say, hey, I see it and I can do the same thing. Because it was just, they did not have it. They were now not aware of that. So when we first spoke and when we worked through all of those layers, when we really were stripping them off of layers and layers and layers that no longer belonged, that were constraining them and confining and heavy. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. But when they turn to me and they say, Sarah, I finally feel alive. I finally feel I can breathe. I finally hear myself and I can feel myself and I can feel supported and heard and understood. There's no money in the world that can get you that. And there's no amount of meals you can skip. There's no amount of assistants you can hire. There's no amount of funnels you can put in place. There's no amount of people in your communities that you can try to serve that will ever bring that feeling, because it's already inside of you. All you have to do is go and find it. And from that space, you create the life, intentional living, exactly how you want it, exactly how you envision it, because it's already there. All you have to do is know how to tap into it and know how to find the courage for you to take that leap. And that's the difference between those around you who are wishing and hoping and you who already is in the arena getting your ass kicked. And that's what I want to remind you of. You already have done it more than once. You have it in you to do it again. So even if it means you have to pivot in your business, even if it means you have to leap to the next level, you already have it in you. Because what's on the other side is that ease, it's grace, simplicity, peace of mind, fulfillment, joy, happiness. I mean, all of those things that we all are striving to create and experience, right? So that brings me to the last final prism, that once you put it all in place, you will see there's no first or last. They are all interchanging and they all relate to each other, and they each have multiple components that keep on shifting and changing and growing and expanding just as you are. And that's the beauty of it. And the last piece, as I already mentioned earlier, is the spirituality. See, a lot of times clients who come to me are ashamed, were made feel ashamed of those divine gifts that they possess, of that value that they create in the most natural place, because it was so much different from what others could comprehend. To the point when they simply put a divider, like, this is my business, this is my spirituality. I'm here to invite you to break down this divide and combine them, because this is the only way for you to really add incredible value, step it up, and really expand. When you combine your entrepreneurship, when you combine your mindset, when you combine your spirituality in this holistic thing, and you bring in your family and the life you want to create, what this does for you is allows you to harness your brain power in a whole new way. It allows you to tap into this higher knowing and co-create with those higher sources, whether those are angels for you, whether that's God, or whether that's the universe, which in my case, the universe is my co-creator here. It will help you reduce stress that you're currently experiencing. It will help you increase your creativity, and it will help you become a better leader. And not to mention the clarity that you will gain from that is second to none. So this is my invitation to you to allow yourself to tap into the guidance, to allow yourself, open up those channels, capture those downloads. Don't shy away from them, because that is the magic that you bring to the table that is unique to you. And that fuels the energy that your clients and people around you are privileged to step into, and will pay premium just to be in that energy of yours, just to be in the presence of yours. Plus what your skill set and, knowledge and experience and expertise add to their own lives and their own businesses. This is so expensive. This is so rewarding, and it is such a sacred commitment that you can make to yourself, that I truly invite you and I urge you to make it and not break it. So if you feel ready to make that leap, to tap into that courage of yours, to remember who you are and step into the highest level of service, use your business as a vehicle of highest level of transformation you offer to yourself and create for yourself. Let me rephrase that. Highest level of transformation you create for yourself and for your clients. If you're ready to fulfill your dharma, if you're ready to create intentional living, business by design, leadership and impact, let's talk. I'll be more than happy to help. And we can get together. We can talk about all of those prisms, see what tweaks need to be made, where you're out of the alignment, where your myopic vision and thinking are holding you back, and what are those limitless possibilities already available to you. All you have to do is reach out and let me know, and we'll go from there. Until then, here's to making your life your legacy.